Hey, hi all. Welcome back to Beer and Knowledge Center. In today's session, we are going to see how we are going to add a cache to the endpoint of microservice so that I can cache the static content and that content is always survive from a cache memory, but not going to the server and get the response. Because when you look at web application development, there are two types of content we can see. One is static content, another one is dynamic content. That means static content is something which is like logo or website or kind of client information or some lookups or some gender, right? Some country names or state names, ethnicity. So these are some values which cannot be changed frequently, right? These are static values which can be used across all pages with the same values. So in that context, I cannot make any hit to the database or web server to get the data and display on UI. In this case, I have to cache this stuff to make sure the values are coming from cache so that it is not adding any, kind of a traverse or kind of process time to my, request and response time. That's how I'm going to, add or save some of the time for static content, right? So of course, other side, we have dynamic data, which always has to go to the database and get the data. So whatever microservice endpoint, you feel that the data always static, right? So very first time you go and get the data, and second time onwards, you keep that in cache and get that from cache. That's how you're going to save a lot of time for the user, and even your request and response time also greatly increase that. Your benchmark timings are going to be matched with that. Okay, let's see like how we're going to see that configuration part to do this. Okay, so for me, like to do this, we need to install a NuGet package manager, right? That is, I think, Ocelot dot cache manager. So cache manager is a namespace we need to add it to our project. Okay, let me go to my Ocelot project, right, which is running now, right? I'm just closing this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that namespace first. Okay, so going here and you get packages and try to search for Ocelot dot cache. When I search for that, I can get this particular cache manager. Just try to install it so that it will install into your current directory and add it to your current project. Okay. Once it is installed, right, the next thing is you need to make sure, right, adding the relevant stuff to your project. Just apply this. Okay. And go to your, the program.cs file. Okay. And here you have add oslet, right? Dot, you just say add cache. So let me try to import that first. Okay. So that I can get that information using oslet dot cache manager. So there is that add oslet. Let's say something here. Yeah. Dot. I'm going to say add cache manager of, I'm going to say settings, which I read through, right? Settings dot with dictionary handle, with dictionary handle. That's it. So once after adding this, the next thing is you need to add the time, right? How much time you wanted to cache that stuff, right? That you need to add it in Postlet JSON configuration. Coming here, I already handled, right? This a file cache options dot total seconds is 30 seconds. Let me do it for 20 seconds. Okay. That means it is going to cache the content 20 seconds. So I added this for user details. Okay. Let me run this and see like how it is going to work. Okay. So when I run this, I got to know this, correct? So when I'm trying to do this, right? User details, that is what the endpoint we have added, caching, right? User details. For this user details, let me try to run. This is not working because you need to pass a barrier token. So certainly we have to go to Postman to pass the token, right? I'm going here. I'm going to see user details and still my token is valid. Let me try to browse this. Now my content is received. And you can see that caching stuff here, right? Not this one. Where is that Ocelot, right? Now content is fine now. When I make another hit, right, the content is coming from, right, cache. See here, right? Where is that? Let me show you. Uh, right. Client has been authenticated. Okay. Uh, mhm. Mm, Let me see you in right the other way around. Something like the postman itself, where exactly the stuff is coming, and see it. Uh, Let me check that. Better. Okay, primal rate limit. That's fine. When I make it here, it has to display something. Okay, did we miss anything? I don't think it is fine now. I guess no change here. Test result has no. Somehow you can see here itself. Let me check this. Mm, Use scope is authorized. Okay. 78 AB user does not require authorization. No, has been details. Now check here. Actually, this is coming from cache, it seems. How can I? The very first time it went this, right? And it is processed. Okay. Root is authenticated, must be checked. Let us close this and come back and see for more on this. Let me try to rerun this and see. I kept for 20 seconds, right? File total seconds for user details. And let me run this. I can see that. So go back to the postman and open this as well. Ocelot configuration. Okay. Let me see here. Let me minimize this. Okay. Okay. When I send request, I got the response. What happened? No, it's that content. Oops. This is let me minimize. User details. Oops. There are no test for this request. Why so? Yeah, this is the body, right? Let me drag this. Now, look at here. This is the 200 status, right? Very first time it went to, right, server and get the status, right? Client has been authenticated. User scope is authorized. This is root through. And from here onwards, right, it is fetching from cache. If we want to check that, right, let's make this as 5 seconds, right? and try to run this and wait for 5 seconds and see. So file cache options. Let me go back to your this configuration and also your Ocelot, right? Let me hit this. Now I'm getting a result. Okay. Now see here, this is 200 status of code request URL, this thing. When I hit again, right, it is not going to the server, right? It is getting it from file cache, right? You can clearly see this. No previous request ID message, just a path user it is in authenticated root, authentication middleware, checking if client is authenticated, and then getting the data from, right, uh, browser cache. Okay, it is getting from file cache options. Okay, and again click for one more time. So every time when you click this, this is coming right from the cache. That's pretty much sure for us. So every time it is coming from right browser cache. Okay, so because it routes through a cache options. Okay, and you wait for 5 seconds if you want to test that, right? Check this. Now 813 milliseconds. Now it is going to the server because 813 seconds. This is the actual request going to the server. Okay. Now onwards, when I click, where is that option? Oops. Now when I click again, it is not going to take that much time. It is taking simple 20 milliseconds, 20, 17 milliseconds, 26 milliseconds. Okay. Because we have implemented rate limit as well as cache. Okay. Now I can see data is coming from database. When I hit, it is coming from cache. You can see clearly this. You can see this here also. Very first time it is going to server, rest of all times it is coming from file cache options. Okay. This is how we are going to implement caching for any endpoint, right? File cache options, just add it in API gateway. Before to that, you need to add this add cache manager settings and then install this particular namespace. Okay, so I hope you understood the implementation part of caching in Ocelot Apigateway. Okay, thanks for listening to this video and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.